Hello, I'm Greg Aldrich, Research Associate Professor at Kansas State University in the Grain Science and Industry Department and the Pet Food Program Coordinator at Kansas State University. In this last year, I was approached by the M-Fiber team from Renew Biomass regarding a new fiber source that they had been working with that they wanted to evaluate in companion animal diets. This fiber source they described to me as Miscanthus grass or Miscanthus giganteus. They described to me that it's a grass that's purpose grown for its cellulose content. Now, most of you in the pet food industry know that we use a lot of fiber, especially cellulose, partly for gastrointestinal health, but we use a lot of cellulose for other special food purposes. Things like improving stool consistency, improving hairball control in cats, and also to control the energy density of diets. With obesity being an epidemic in pets, it seemed like a natural idea to look at this new M-Fiber or Miscanthus grass in pet applications. So when the team from Renew Biomass asked us to evaluate it in our lab at Kansas State University, we were intrigued, and we also wanted to be able to do a little bit of legwork beforehand to find out what other researchers had found about its use and utility in animal diets. As it turned out, we couldn't find anything. Literally nothing. There was no research whatsoever published on the use of Miscanthus grass as a dietary ingredient in any species that we could find. And so it really intrigued us because this was going to give us the opportunity to explore whether or not Miscanthus grass could be an alternative fiber source to cellulose or other fibers that we use constantly. Now, as a formulator of diets in the pet industry, I'm always on the lookout for new tools that I can use in my formulation toolbox to help address some of my clients' requests. With the financial support from the folks at Renew Biomass, we were able to commission 2 individual studies looking at the application of M-Fiber or Miscanthus grass in dog diets and the second in cat diets. So we are looking at or wanting to evaluate the effects of high levels of this fiber source, upwards of 10% of the total dietary mass, compared to cellulose, which is a standard that we know is used on a regular basis in the pet industry, and beet pulp, which is a fairly high standard or common standard used in pet food for its moderate fermentability and moderate bulking capacity. So we evaluated the M-Fiber at 10% versus those 2 alternative fibers in dog diets and in cat diets. We found that in each case, the animals would accept the food quite readily. There was no problems with refusals compared to the other 2 diets. And we saw that the stool quality was improved relative to the other contemporary fiber sources. In the preliminary data, we've also been able to find thus far that the overall dry matter digestibility seems to be comparable to cellulose and maybe a slight favorable relationship to beet pulp. So thus far, we've been able to evaluate M-Fiber or Miscanthus grass under 2 settings, dog and cat diets. We've evaluated the processing information, and we're waiting on the final pieces of our analytical work in the laboratory to evaluate the full efficacy of Miscanthus grass in these dog and cat diets as it relates to their overall nutritional digestibility, gastrointestinal health, and stool consistency.